Hey guys, Bob Saget here with America's Funniest Home Videos. Today we're going to be doing a top 5 playing card deck list. My favorite top 5 playing cards. I threw that because I didn't have anything else to throw. Didn't want to spoil the playing cards, even though they're probably going to be in the thumbnail. So here I'm going to give you guys my favorite. Again, this isn't a definitive list of the top 5 best cards ever. These are just Piggy's favorite cards, so don't go in the comments and say, oh, wow, you like that deck? You're a piece of shit. You're anemic. Wow, I didn't even think that deck was possible for somebody to like. You must be gay, as you guys usually do. So these are just my favorite decks, just in terms of the way they look and the way they are. Number 1, we have Bicycle. Number 1, we have Bicycle. These, unfortunately, I could not find bicycles that I did not have in storage, so these are the only ones that I could get with this. Look at this long sort of flap here. You don't see that every day. Bicycle is my favorite, one of my favorite decks because of the fact that they're available everywhere. First of all, they're cheap and they're great. They're great cards. I don't understand why people are going to this whole habit of, hey, let me just make cards more expensive, more and more expensive, and put fucking dragons on the back when all you need is a good pair of bikes and you're good to go. So Bicycle, the classic, the Coca-Cola classic here. I'm gonna just take out these shit cards. They spread nice, they dribble nice, they do slights, all sort of nice. Bicycles are pretty much one of my favorite decks. It's a good, you can't go wrong with these. You really can't go wrong with these. When you take them out, people are like, ah, man, that's refreshing. A good old nice Bicycle deck. Oh boy, you are a classic, sir. And you spread them, and then people, oh, it just brings back feelings of nostalgia and playing card games with your significant other in the park bench. Oh man. So Bicycle, I had to say, are one of my favorite top 5 favorite playing cards for obvious reasons. They might not be yours, but this is my video. You fucking number 2, Madison Rounders. Madison Rounders. This deck, as you can see, is beat up. Is beat the fuck up from all the use that it's gotten. I have one here that's sealed hermetically for your protection, and you notice the difference in these. But Madison Rounders are one of my favorite decks of cards, just because of its simplicity here. You have a black sort of back. You have 2 little symbols. That's pretty much it. You don't have any sort of an obnoxious dragon murdering Satan on it. You don't have some sort of weird design that was inspired by a California artist who's drinking a chai latte every day. No, it's a simple design here. It's very eloquent. I particularly enjoy these cards. Now the faces are obviously very nice. The color pattern on the red cards is a little bit darker red. One negative I have to say about this deck is the super edgy jokers with a razor blade. Daniel, if you could have gotten for just a normal fucking joker, I think everybody would have thanked you. But apart from that, the cards are phenomenal. They spread great. These cards are old, and you could still see that they're not tarnished. They still spread very nice. They dribble fantastically. You could still cut them like a raven with a razor blade. You could shuffle them and do all the things that people do with cards here. Do all those little fancy cuts. Whatever's hot on the street these days, right? Let's see if we could bust out a good old one-handed shuffle with these. See, they're very easy to faro. That's another great habit. And you get a little bit of an Easter egg because all the court cards are different people that have, ripped you off in some capacity. Illusionists from time to time. So you got David Blaine, you got Adam Wilbur there, you got D. Christopher. So you got a whole family slew of people here on the faces of the cards. It's a great deck. I gotta say, one of my favorite top five deck for sure. Number 3, the Pressers. The Pressers have quickly become top 5 material for me ever since I bought them about a year and a half ago. They're great, or a year ago maybe. I'm exaggerating. They're phenomenal cards. They have a nice little sort of 50s vibe to them. You know, the cards have this sort of cool motif. Press your luck, right? They have all these. I enjoy every single aspect of these cards, from the back The back design is fairly simple. You don't have, again, the only thing you see is that it says pressers. You see that? That's it. Right there, pressers there and pressers there. If Canon would figure out, there you go. So that's pretty much all you have on the cards. They're simple, they're minimalistic, but yet the faces are vibrant with color and passion. So the jokers are phenomenal. Even this advert card, you see the color. The aces have a little bit of this cool font. You see that font? That's crazy font right there. That's insane font on these aces. They're very nice. The cards have a very old sort of feel to it. You see the Mad Max sort of vibe to it. The sort of vibe you get when you slap, your wife comes into the room and then she's like, hey, honey, and you go, fuck you, bitch. Can't you see I'm drinking? Can't you see I'm drinking my whiskey? Bitch, how about you comment when it's not whiskey time? It's a good old family 50s vibe that these cards kind of instill. Obviously she's smoking to cope with the fact that her husband just slapped the shit out of her for coming into the room unannounced. But the cards are great. The cards are among my favorites, just the way they feel, the way they are. This deck was actually used. It was actually bought used for a cheaper price. And you notice that they have they have this very great finish to it. They spread fantastically. They feel so nice on your skin. Oh man, they're great job. Great job, Illusionist. Of all people who made the deck. Oh boy, Illusionist. You're really hamming it up here with my favorite top 5 decks here. 4! Cris Angel. Cris Angel playing cards. These are among my favorite playing cards. They feel so nice. They spread. You see how well they spread? They spread fantastically. When you spread them in your hands, you get a nice little sense of the young Asian boy that was the one that put this deck together in a sweatshop. It's so good. You could do sleights with them like this. You could do sleights like that. You could do a crazy sleight of hand magic like Cris Angel does on his show. They shuffle really well into each other. You don't have to bend the fuck out of them in order to do any sort of basic shuffle. And then when you take them out of the box after not using them for a while, they get this nice little bend. Some would say that that's kind of like a bad thing. No, I think that's a feature, dog. I think that's a feature that you take them out of the box, which, by the way, the back design looks like it was designed by a 13-year-old gangster. So great cards in that, Chris. You nailed it with this amazing quality deck of cards. The fact that if they bend them like this and you do a double lift, that everyone sees the thickness of the card because of the bend. It's a great little feature that you have there. Chris, man, did you design this while on fucking drugs? It's a great sort of family deck. And the fact is that this deck cost $13.95. $13.95. So it's among one of the cheaper best decks that you could possibly get. So I would have to say it's in my definite top 3, not even top 5, top 3. 4! That was a prank, by the way. The Cris Angel, that was a prank. That wasn't real. It was definitely a prank. These are the other ones that are my favorite, my top 5. The Animal Kingdom playing cards. Now, I know I've said about 1,000 times that I like cards that are minimal, that don't have crazy sort of patterns to them. These in particular have a little bit of a very busy back design, but just the color scheme of those cards is the best that I've seen on any deck of cards. Just the orange that they chose, the contrast with the black, it's a great fucking deck. And the fact that it spreads nice, it dribbles nice, you can do all your sleights nice, and on top of that, you have different animals as the court cards. So here you have a fucking penguin. Look at that. Look at that fucking penguin. How great is that penguin? You have a lion? A lion? Man, you really can't go wrong with these. What else do you have? Fucking walrus. How could you deny this deck of cards when the King of Spades is a walrus? Oh boy, there's a better one here. There's a better one. Oh, raccoon. Queen of Clubs is a raccoon. Oh, there's one here that it drove me mad when I first saw it. It's a fucking alligator. It's a fucking alligator for the King of Clubs. How could you deny a deck with a fucking alligator or a frog as the jack? God, yeah, this deck is probably my favorite deck. The colors on it, oh man, great job. Who made this theory? Oh, Wildlife Fund, thank you. Apart from taking the name from the World Wrestling Federation. Theory 11, great deck. Theory 11, you guys know how to fucking slam a deck down. This one is probably one of my favorite decks, I have to say. Top two, just in terms of the color. Oh, boy. Man, I could go on for hours talking about this deck, but I think nobody's going to watch that. Here, definitely, guys. Purchase this deck if you get the chance. You're also contributing, by the way, to animal conservation here, according to the cards, but that's irrelevant. What matters is the actual cards themselves. And oh boy, just get it, just buy it. Honorable mention right here. Honorable mentions. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna be leaving the links to these right below, the Amazon links. If you click on those, you're gonna be throwing a little bit of a kickback on old Piggy here. So it's not anything extra. You just buy what you would buy if you use those links. And then guess what? Piggy gets a little bit of a kickback, and you support this whole thing. So I'm going to be leaving the links to all these decks below. And if you want to purchase them, you click on those links, and then things happen, and then we all go home happy, moist, and wet. So here are the honorable mentions here. Tally Ho with the circle back, the original circle back. This one is among one of the first playing cards that I saw other magicians use. And I was like, man, I wish one day I could buy a deck of cards of my own. And guess what? I can now. So these cards are just, oh boy, they just have a nice little circle back, right? They have that classic tally-ho finish. The cards are a little bit hard, but not too hard. You could still cut them. They spread fantastically. The cards, the faces have a wonderful vibrance to them. The court cards are all there. It's a great looking deck. And definitely one you can't go wrong with. It's honorable mention, but it's definitely a great sort of deck here. That also the DMC blacks. These are the original DMCs, the elites. You got DMC there. Oh boy, looking as dapper as a fucking serial killer can. And you have the backs of these cards, the backs. Now again, the cards. It's not the spreading, it's not the dribbling of these cards, it's not the feel, it's not the finish, it's the markings on these cards. Oh boy, they're so well integrated. I'm sure if you guys know what to look for, you could see them, but they're so well integrated into the back design that you really can't go wrong with a deck of cards like this. You can see the markings from about a room away, and the fact that the cards happen to spread, nice. The fact that you could still do all your little slides with the cards. Let's hit up Jeff McBride, one-handed fan there. Oh shit, right there. The fact that you could do all your slides with these cards is still fucking great. Oh boy, but the markings on these cards are just fantastic. So those are the honorable mentions here because there's other twos that I want to talk about. So number one is two decks. I know I'm a cheap piece of shit, but it's my list. It's my list. I could do whatever I want here. So this one is the DMC Rogue Red Elites. And then this is a specialty marked deck of maiden-backed bicycle playing cards that are usually you buy them I got them in a tourist shop in Las Vegas, of all places. But you can find them on Amazon. They're about $30. But the markings on these cards are, bar none, the best fucking markings I've ever seen on a deck of cards. I'm sure that there are other cards in the market that have the same sort of markings on them, but these in particular just have so many markings on them that I'm surprised it was for only $30. So here, obviously, DMC Elites, they're the same things as the previous deck. Only difference is that these are red, and let me tell you, the redness of these cards has added a significant amount to the just the overall quality and aesthetics of the card. The red makes a card stand out, makes them vibrant. You still have the nice little vibrant cards in the front. They spread nice, they act nice, but the markings are still present. They're still there. You could still read them from about a fortnight away. And these cards are just a delight to use. So DMC Elite Rogue, you should pick them up wherever you can because pretty sure these cards are going out like hot fire. Hot fire. So they're great. I definitely recommend them, especially if you're looking for a quality marked deck of cards where you don't have to, decipher using the code of Hammurabi to figure out what the actual card back is. You know, this is a very nice, easy one that you could easily figure out the actual backs and the actual identity of the card. Here's the diamond, right? Here's 10 of diamonds, sorry. This is the 9 of diamonds right here. You know, this is the king of spades. You know, they're fairly easy to figure out, so they're good for that. And finally, the maiden back cards here. Maiden back are just the same as a standard bicycle deck. You see they have a little bit of a maiden back, which I particularly enjoy. But again, that's not the secret of these cards. There are so many secrets to these particular cards that it'll probably take up an entire video just to talk about them. But the markings on the back, I'll just leave that there. The markings on the back are just so good. And if you've probably only seen, if you've looked at one here, there's about 4 different markings on each and every single playing card, and they're just so good. They're just so good. There's a little secret on the flap here, a little secret on the flap. There's little secrets everywhere. But the markings on the card, if you run it through the movies, you see that there's about 4 or 5 different markings on the card. Not only to indicate the actual card itself, but there's markings to indicate the card above it, the card below it, the position. Oh, man, goddamn, marked gamblers deck. You fucking killed it. And the fact that the cards spread nice, they still have the air cushion finish. They still have all that you would have in an ordinary deck of playing cards. It's a great deck. Oh boy. So this is definitely my favorite deck that I've ever gotten of all time. Maiden back bicycle marked gamblers deck. You could find that in most touristy stores, overpriced. So I'm pretty sure you could find it on Amazon for cheaper. But this is a fucking quality deck. I gotta say, you guys killed it. You guys killed it. So those are all my favorite decks. I gotta say, I have a lot of favorite decks. Fucking garbage. I have a lot of favorite decks here, but these are just mine. They're not a comprehensive list by any sort of means, but I particularly enjoy them. And you know what? You will enjoy them too if you just shut up and take it. Just shut up and take it. So these are my favorite decks of playing cards. That makes for a good thumbnail, right? That makes for a really good thumbnail. Let's just get one of those in. One of those. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed talking about my favorite decks. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to go figure out different ways to find my old VHS tapes of America's Funniest Home Videos and see if I could send those in again. When I see you again, 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 when I see you again.